that. Yeah. Andrew Giles, meanwhile, he's to mount a new defence in the High Court against asylum seekers who refuse to cooperate with authorities. Jane, what's your reaction to this latest approach?
Well, quite frankly, this is too little too late from Andrew Giles, who potentially I think is the most incompetent minister that we have seen in this already chaotic Labor government. They have lost control of the borders. They have already said themselves that the immigration detention system is unravelling before their eyes, and it's because of decisions that Labor is making. It is not the fault of the courts at all. We know that Andrew Giles specifically made representations to the High Court saying that there was little prospect of resettling NZYQ, and that is one of the reasons that the High Court, they even said that that was one of the reasons that they took into account when making their decision about that detainee's prospects of resettlement and therefore his release. And that's why the Labor government then released not one, but 149 criminal detainees into the community. That's after Andrew Giles missed 3 crucial appointments with his own department who would brief him on this issue. The Labor government then said that they needed preventative detention orders. The Coalition have helped them pass those preventative detention orders, but now they've said the bar is too high.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, if the legislative bar is too high, the Coalition will come to the party and help them lower that bar. But we haven't seen any amendments presented. It's ridiculous that the Labor government are simply shrugging their shoulders rather than doing something. Don't point to the fire, put it out.
So how would you lower that bar? What would you do?
Well, that's up to the government to present amendments that would provide a legislative ability.
But have you got an idea? Have you got an amendment that you'd like to see?
It is entirely up to the government to move those amendments. They are the ones that are dealing with the High Court's decision and the inability to create preventative detention orders that would be legally binding. So let's see what their advice is. We don't have the departments that can create that advice. Okay. But why aren't they doing something? They've hired a whole bunch of lawyers, but they don't seem to be doing anything with those lawyers.
Here's a point. As you mentioned there, and you're right, the Coalition did help toughen those laws, but why are they still so vulnerable to constitutional challenges?
Well, that is a very good question. So that's why we need the Labor government to present amendments to those orders so that we can, and the Coalition are standby, ready to support them to do that. The Coalition has always been strong on border protection and is committed, unlike the Labor government, to keeping the community safe. If the government can present us with an alternative, with an option, with an amendment that will help keep criminal detainees behind bars rather than roaming about in the community, well, of course, the Coalition stands by, ready to help. OK. Are you encouraged by that LNP result in Queensland over the weekend? I think you certainly would be. I think it speaks volumes of the fact that people will speak at the ballot box if the cost of living rages out of control, as does crime, and particularly in Queensland, youth crime. They've said that they are dissatisfied with the way that the Queensland Labor government has been managing both the economy and managing the crime situation up there, and that's been played out in the ballot box. Now, how that plays out on a federal level, I think we'll probably need to truly gut the chicken before we read the entrails there. Right. But this is certainly an indication that when people are dissatisfied with their lot, with the way that the government is handling various issues, they speak at the ballot box. All right.